Hello, good evening, TDN listeners, and of course, the audience of This Week in Interview. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Interview with your host and guide, Anthony Drago. I hope that everyone, it seems like if you're in the US, you are experiencing some kind of heat wave or some kind of weather event. So I hope you are faring well. I am talking to you right now in Brooklyn. We've been experiencing some I think, above average temperatures for almost a week now. I came home and I have no power. I have no electrical power. Um, so we're all on temporary. But we should be good. We should be fine. Um, so far, so good. Uh, Good evening to you if you are listening to us from Dominica on RVR Jams Radio. In fact, anywhere that you're listening to us, it could be on Facebook or on YouTube or Instagram, any one of those platforms. If you haven't done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, give us a like, share, comment. The more you do that, is the more this program grows. This week in interview, and I like to think that we discuss so many great topics on here that if we can grow the audience to where keep growing it, keep increasing in size, our information that we give hopefully will spur enough people into taking action that may result in some kind of change. So we lost about 15 minutes because, as I said, we were having some adjustments to make because of power outages. Like I said, everybody has the air conditioner on, and there was a lot of breakers tripping and all kind of overload on the system. And so I apologize for the late start. If you also listening to us in Toronto, right, online radio SVE carries this weekend interview live in the Toronto market. And the regular listeners, welcome back. Tonight is the first time that you're listening to us or you're joining me. I hope you really like what you hear, what you see, and you will come back and spend the time with us. So as I said, we lost some time in the beginning, so I'm not going to take too much of the time. My guest tonight is Miss Sapphire Carrington. She is the newly minted author of a wonderful book called Carry Culture, A People Worth Celebrating. And that's what brings her back onto This Week in Interview live with me. She's been on This Week in Interview before, but it's been a while. I want you to join me in giving her a very warm welcome back to This Week in Interview. Miss Carrington, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and good night, listeners.
Okay. And I mean, where have you been? You haven't checked in on us in a while. So I from the book, I guess all of that is mostly good things, right?
Right. I mean, definitely it's been a few years in the making. So, it takes a lot of research and
Mhm.
time and taking care of me.
Okay. All
Sometimes
right.
we got to
Cannot
take care
quarrel
of
with that, right?
ourselves. Yes.
Cannot quarrel with that. Cannot quarrel with that. Uh, but congratulations, first of all, on the publishing of your first. I'm guessing it's your first book. Have you
It,
done any publishing before?
that's my first published book.
It's your
It's my
first
first.
published book. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm thankful. I've had a lot of help along the way.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a lot of work to get to that point. Yes.
So, as I said, congratulations,
Thank
and I wish you all the best with it. The title of the book is Carry Culture, a People Worth Celebrating. So, what motivated you to write this book? Did you always have a desire to be a writer? Talk to us about the genesis of the idea. Oh, I can write a book, and what the motivation behind it, the ideas, the objectives, and so on.
So, just in terms of writing the book, so let me backtrack a little bit. I will say I wrote my first book when I was probably 9 years old, but it was more of a mystery, and probably because back then I was very much into reading, let's say, Nancy Drews and Hardy Boys, right?
Okay.
Um, so ask me where that book is today. I don't know. Between leaving Dominica and moving here, who knows where it is, right? But
Right.
it's one of those things I think it's important that we do, right? Like we have to leave. I always say when we leave this earth, we leave and that's it, right? So always think of, well, what's that legacy you leave behind, right? And what's that
Mm-hmm.
thing that's going to etch your name
Mm-hmm.
in history, right? Other than your tombstone, right? So it's one of those things I've always wanted to do. I didn't know what I was going to write. Probably I've gone back to the idea of a mystery, kind of like I did when I was younger. But, it the whole idea of bringing, carry culture
Mm-hmm.
was just talking to, I think our people, I think we are really good souls out there. I think Caribbean people are probably, I will say, probably the hardest working set of people I've come across.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're very, just we're smart, like, I think we're a special breed, you know so I think, and I don't think we get enough recognition. I don't think we are, I don't even think sometimes we even understand our history and where we came from and what we've
Mm-hmm.
contributed on a global scale. And so for me was putting together something that not just teaches us the basics, your geography, a little bit about our history, but teaching the contributions we've made globally, right? Because there's a lot of things that people just don't know, that started movements that started with Caribbean people,
To the
so
Caribbean. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think those things are important for people to actually have in front of them, and say, okay, wow. A lot of people that read the book, they were like, they had no idea. Um, I had this one woman, a Black American, and for her, it was like an eye opener as to the contributions Caribbean people have made within the US, or, in England and stuff like that. Things that people just really don't know. And if they don't know, I feel they need to know. So,
Right.
carry
And
culture to
so
me
the
should
book
educating people,
and
informing
so the
them.
uh
Go ahead.
yeah, I will get into some of the final details as we go along. Um, I was trying. So I understand what you're saying is that part of the motivation is that you feel that the contribution of Caribbean people, our story as Caribbean people, um, is not record. Well, it's recorded because you could find out
Right,
about it to
right,
include in your book,
right.
but it's not well told. It's not popularized
And it's
because
not,
every so
some of
often
it
we
is
see.
right. Some of it is not done by us as well, right? So, doing research, I found it, different colleges, I found it
Mhm.
in just different areas. So it's crazy because the average person is not going to go there and pull in all these libraries, right? They're not going to pull all these different things. And if you don't, like, to me, it was just finding a way to put it all together in one place.
Okay, so w- if somebody gets this book, Carry Culture,
Hmm.
and they've read it, I mean, what do you hope that they come away with after reading the book?
I mean, I'm hoping, one, a deeper appreciation for the Caribbean contributions, to global culture. I hope they walk away with, a deeper sense of pride in the Caribbean heritage. And I want them to be able to feel so proud and knowledgeable that they can go ahead and just openly make that conversations and share that with other people, because people are only going to know when we talk about it, right? And people are going to keep sharing when they feel we know what we're talking about. We understand our history. We're deeply rooted in our history. They want to gravitate towards our culture, right? Just think about it, right? Just you being excited about your own country, your own culture, your upbringing, other people get excited about it too. So I think if at least if they can walk away with that, that would mean a lot to me.
Okay, so an appreciation for the Caribbean. So is your book primarily the book is Carry Culture,
Right.
a people worth celebrating. Are
Hmm.
you, is your primary target Caribbean people? Who's your primary audience that you wrote this book with in mind?
So when I wrote, so the audience is just anyone who wants to learn about history and people, right? And understanding different people's culture. So it could be anybody. Like, I actually think it should be a textbook, right? Because of the amount of history that's inside that book, right? So it's a lot of research based. I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
there are a couple of stories that I wrote to explain, for example, slavery, just from a different point of view, right? As opposed to, writing the normal slave trade. Um, it it's so much. It's a lot. It's 518 pages
It's
of
518 pages. What? Wow.
518 pages, 8 by 11. I started off saying I was creating a coffee table book, and
Uh huh.
I had this group review it, and I think the best thing one of the young people said to me was, it's not your normal coffee table book. It's a book that you keep open, because every page there was a
Okay.
different conversation to have, right? So let's say you have it on your coffee table, you can literally randomly just turn to a page and then you can read something, and then it's a conversation. And that's what I think is special about the book. It's that it has so much information in there. It gives you a clear picture of
Hmm.
who those people are, right? Like, yes, did I highlight, like cricket? It talks about sports, it talks about even rounders, right? A lot of people don't even know about rounders, yet baseball is known all over, right? um just
Right.
all the different Caribbean athletes or people of Caribbean heritage, whether you're an actor, an actress, an athlete, you know it's included in that volume, right? I mean, it's a lot of info
Mhm.
in one space. So it wasn't just done for just, yes, I want every Caribbean person in my head. Every household needs this book, right? Every child that grew
Mhm.
up out of the country needs this book, because it really gives you. And when I tell you, the goal is to instill a sense of pride. That's what that book, to me, you should come away with.
So when we talk about carry culture, so
Hmm.
carry, I guess, not, you don't have to be a genius to guess it comes from the Caribbean, and we know
Right. So
what
it's a
culture
deliberate
is.
blend of the two words. Yes.
Right. So, but nothing is straightforward, right? Because you talk to different people about the Caribbean, and everybody has their, not everybody, but different
Hmm.
groups of people have their own, um, how would you say, geographic bounds of what constitutes the Caribbean.
Hmm.
So is that a question? Let me ask you that. When you were putting the material together,
Hmm.
primarily, what are the geographic bounds that you considered in being Caribbean?
Anything from, let's say, I will say, any of the Caribbean islands from the Greater Antilles all the way down, and I included Guyana as well, because Guyana is the only English-speaking country
So the
down on
Eastern
that side.
Caribbean, Guyana.
Everywhere,
Okay,
yep,
okay.
yep, yep. Bahamas, just name
Yeah,
it,
because
it's
the
in there.
reason I add that, because some people go to South America beyond Guyana, right? Some people grab Central. Some people say
Right,
anything that the
right,
Caribbean Sea washes onto the
right, right,
Caribbean.
right,
But
right.
your Caribbean in this context is from, let us say, did you include Cuba? No, you didn't go as far as Cuba. You did like Jamaica, right?
Of course, the Greater Antilles and the Less Antilles are included. Yes, of course.
Okay, so you do
Jamaica,
include Cuba and
Cuba,
Haiti and all of that.
Haiti, of course, Haiti. So if you notice
Uh-huh.
the cover of the book has a hibiscus, and
I don't know if Sam has the flyer that I did ready. It has a copy of, it's built around a copy of the cover. Um,
right.
if you maybe
I
maybe you
can't.
put
Breaking up. Sorry. Say that again.
sometime during the conversation.
Can you hear me?
Right.
Can you hear me?
The title, because okay, yeah, because it looks like I'm having internet issues again. Might be just has to do with power losses in the
Yeah,
area.
the power. Yeah, yeah.
But you were saying about Haiti, and then you said
Right.
they
The
finally
flower.
realized
So a lot of people may not know that the Haiti's, I'll say the unofficial flower
the flower on the
for
cover.
Haiti.
Go ahead.
So the unofficial flower for Haiti, national flower, is the hibiscus, right? But for me, when I think of the hibiscus within the Caribbean, not only is it going to be eye catching, it blooms year round. To me, it's on almost every island, right? So it's one of the things to me that connects us, as simple as it sounds, right? It's a flower, right? It's eye catching, it blooms year round. And to me, that represents a lot of
Mhm.
us as a people. I always say, if you know when we grew up, they used to say, if I plant you, will you grow? And I look at that as a
Right.
tree, a flower, right? Are we going to bloom? And it's a flower that blooms year round, right? So to me, it's a people that's blooming year round no matter where they go. And that was the big deal for me with the hibiscus. But it is also the unofficial flower of Haiti.
So it is okay.
Yep.
Dominican national flower is the Wakwai, the Carib,
Wakai Carib.
but we call them Carinago now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a string of flowers that looks almost like an orchid, but it grows on a tree instead of like the orchid is more of a shrub.
Yeah.
Um, so people worth celebrating.
Hmm.
Why focus on people?
Well, we are humans, right? So,
Hmm.
but the idea is, I think that as a collective, I think we need to be celebrated. We need to celebrate each other. Again, I see a
Hmm.
lot of Caribbean people doing a lot and doing well and working hard, right? And I just think sometimes we deserve a clap here and there. You know what I mean? And if somebody else is not giving us a clap, then we have to start giving ourselves a clap, right? I look at it like, for example, let's look at
Right.
the BET Awards. They give us like a little 2-second moment on there, where people are not even treated near the same way, right? Oh, sorry, my car is hearing me talk and is. Thank you, Mercedes. Oh my God, sorry. So, yeah, so the idea is, you know what? Then let's start celebrating our people, right? If we don't start honoring them, who do we
Right.
expect to do it for us, right? So to me, yes, I have a page of Oatly. I put her as a goat, right? A lot of people don't even know she's from Jamaica. You know, I highlighted a lot of our cricketers. I think they deserve. I mean, you talk to anyone from Australia, Pakistan, India, they know cricket and they know the West Indies team, right? But yet we don't talk
Hmm.
about them as much, right? But then we'll go scream for some of the artists out there or some of the player, right? Like I go to sports events, right? I scream for them, but I would love to be screaming for our people too, you know but
Right.
I
Right.
think it's important to highlight them, and it's not that they hide it. Like you have Tim Duncan, San Antonio Spurs. He will be the first to talk about St. Croix, wherever it is. I can't remember St. Croix. One of them he's from, right?
St.
You
Croix
have
from it. Uh-huh. Hmm.
right, Nia Long. She has no problem saying, she's from Trini, right? So we know there's a
Right.
lot of people out there. Sidney Poitier grew up in Bahamas, right? A lot of people don't know those things, right? And I think it's
Right.
things that we need to start highlighting, right? The founder of the United States. If somebody ever feel as a Caribbean person you do not belong in America, I am sorry. You need to say something, right? The one of the founders of the United States is born and raised in St. Kitts, right? So
Yeah. Which
those
one of
things
them?
are Hamilton. Everybody watched the
Oh,
play
okay.
and listened to the music without realizing Hamilton was born and raised, moved here at around 19, right? In St. Kitts. So a lot of people don't know that. People who live in Illinois, Chicago was founded by a Haitian. They don't know that. So I think it's important that we understand how we didn't just come here because we on borrowed land. You know what I'm saying? Or we
Right,
just came
right.
across, right? You the same way he founded it. I think it wasn't found. They didn't have the different founders from different regions for no reason. Haiti was in America fighting with America for their freedom against the French and the Brit. A lot of people don't know that stuff. So those are things I think it's important that we have, and it's like, hey, it's written here. You know what I mean? You get in the knowledge so you can back up what you say when you speak, and you can feel confident, even standing in this country.
So
So,
you're sharing a lot of details, a lot of knowledge. Tell us about the process of writing the book. What kind of research you did, where you did your research, all of that.
oh my God, any and everywhere. I mean, obviously, I use the internet a lot, right? So, you can go
Hmm.
into a lot of the libraries into and access their databases, and you get a lot of the periodicals, newspapers. Within the book, I actually scanned some of the newspaper clippings in there, from back way back when. There's a lot of colleges
Hmm.
that hold our records, which is another thing I think, as a Caribbean region, we need to see how we can buy back those things, if you will. I personally don't think, other countries should have certain records that we should really have. But that's just my 2 cents. But the point is, it is still there for us to access, and you have to be able to get into the libraries and into their databases, and you get to learn a lot. There's a lot.
That is such an important point, because I have a few friends who, for example, Dr. Caesar, Dr. Francis Caesar from Grenada. He,
Hmm.
he, when he told me when he was doing his dissertation for his PhD, a lot of the information that he got, he got them from universities in the U.S.
Yep.
When
Yep.
we talked to Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, most of his sources of his information is from researching the archives in London.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
When Thompson Fontaine did his book The Maroons of the
The maroon.
Caribbean,
Hmm.
um, he when you look at where he got his material, a lot of it came from scouring the libraries in London.
Yep.
So the point that
Yep.
you're making, that when you want to learn something about the Caribbean, yeah, there you go, the beautiful cover of the book, Carry Culture.
Oh, thank
People
you.
will
Yeah.
celebrate it. Yeah, and the hibiscus just exploding in color and making it look actually dynamic and in motion. That's a wonderful, wonderful piece of artwork. Did you
Yeah.
have
I.
a special?
Go ahead.
Go
Did
ahead.
you?
And I was asking about the design of the cover.
I had this idea in my head, and then I hired this graphic designer, whatever she is, right? And she did an amazing job. It's like she just listened to me, and she was able to really capture it. I mean, she hit it on like the first go. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect, right? And to me,
Hmm.
it just shows how vibrant, Caribbean people are. We're passionate people, right? So when I look at it, that's what I see. I
Yeah,
see,
it picked up the energy, the vibes, the color,
right.
of movement. It's like it has
Exactly.
carnival in there. You know, and all of that.
Talk,
Almost you can almost
talk
you
about
can almost see a
carnival.
hummingbird. Hmm.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you were saying talking about carnival.
There's a whole section in the book about carnival and how it started. And, there's some cool stuff in the book that, I think it's important for us to learn and know. Just not just learn, know and share it.
So how is the book organized? Is it organized by island? Is it organized by time period? How is it organized?
So there's part of it that's organized in terms of a time period. I actually try to create a timeline in a few sections, right? Just to kind of put things in perspective for people to see, right? Like, whether it's how independence happened. So part of it I sectioned off into, pre-Columbian Columbus era, those kind of things, right? So I kind of broke it up
Mhm,
into
mhm.
those kind of periods. And then the rest of it is about, the music, the culture, and I just kind of went into that as opposed to keeping it, timelined.
I mean, and I know you said it was 500 pages, full size pages, because you said 8.5 by 11. I'm hoping that the print, I haven't been able to get my copy as yet, but I'm
Mm.
hoping that the print is at that size. I'm hoping that the print is that size because the print is huge for, for geriatric people like me, who need large print. Is that what it is? Is that what makes the book? Is that what makes the book long?
Well, so a big part of the design of the book. So I had an idea of what I wanted, and I hired these people to help me put fonts together. That's big, and they focus on typography. And then I hired
Easy
this
to read.
other woman. Actually, she's out of Uganda. She is amazing. She to do the layout of the book for me the way we thought it would look good and appeal to the masses, right? So one of the thing with the fonts is doing some research is it will the Gen Zs and who all those younger people will gravitate to it because of the different typography and how they love that. And at the same time, the fonts, on the regular chapters and stuff, the fonts are pretty decent that you shouldn't need glasses actually, because I find myself using readers
So
now.
it
So
looks
you
like me
can,
have a chance, right?
yeah, you definitely have, like, oh yeah, definitely. I'm literally, I have a copy in my car with me. I mean, just paging through the book, I smile, right? Because it's like it's there's something in there for everybody to read and everybody to feel proud of. I really want, when a person reads this, not just Caribbean people, they walk out feeling almost fulfilled and like, oh wow, like wow. Like, they always say you want that wow factor.
Mhm.
I want them to be wowed by the
Right.
content in there, and just being able to understand, you know, people, understand us as a people, understand even part of the struggle we've been through, but at the same time, understand why. I always kind of say I don't really like saying people are resilient. I tend to say the planet is resilient. But I think as a people, we are, if we have to think of, a lighter definition of resilience, I would say we are resilient as a people, right? I just see Caribbean people always, we go through struggles, we bounce back, right? So, and one of the things I've learned is a lot more Caribbean people are there for each other than they say. You hear the bad things quicker than you hear the good things. But, you know, I, I just think like Caribbean people just need to be celebrated overall, right? Because there's a lot of good that
Well,
comes out of them. We do a lot of good, I should say. And I just think everybody needs to know it, and we should be proud and shout it. People listen to rap music. Biggie, all these people, they're from the Caribbean. There's that
it's a
link that no matter which
Biggie,
way.
yeah, Biggie also in the Caribbean, right?
Jamaica.
Jamaican. Wow.
So,
Wow. What would
it's
be what the
just,
wo-
go ahead.
I was saying, what would the world be without the Caribbean?
Exactly. That's the point. That's the whole point. So I really like the book, and I hope people enjoy it as well. It really weaves together a bunch of the cultural elements. We have our music, the art, you know, it's just community values. I spoke about Rastafarianism. I spoke about, Judaism, things that you would never think. There's a huge Jewish community in Jamaica and a few other islands, right? So
Right.
I think it's important to know that and highlight that, and just let everybody know. Just let everybody
Celebrating our
know.
people.
All
Yeah.
the
Oh,
way.
my guest
All the
tonight.
way.
My guest tonight is Sophia Carrington, and she is the author of the book. brand new book right as we conclude a Caribbean and Heritage Month, the month of June. She's on here with us talking about her book, Celebrating Caribbean People. So the title of the book is Culture, a People Worth Celebrating. It's published by Inkstand. Sam, I just text you a link to it. If you get it in time, maybe you can scroll it along the bottom as we talk. Sapphire, I'm going to take a quick break to get a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. And I want to maybe talk about one or two of the icons from the Caribbean. Maybe some people may not realize that they were Caribbean, or we can just celebrate somebody who has had just a tremendous impact globally, and they credit it to their startup as being Caribbean heritage. So, folks, let's take a quick break from our sponsors. When we come back, we will continue talking to my guest, Miss Sapphire Carrington. Stay tuned.
Presented by
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
Hey y'all, I just discovered an amazing plugin called Joan, Jock on Air Now, for managing my radio station's on-air schedule. It keeps your visitors updated on what's playing and when their favorite hosts are live. Trust me, Joan is the best choice for your WordPress site. There's a free version available in the WordPress repository, and it's definitely worth trying. If you want even more features, Joan Premium lets you easily edit your schedule with just a click. No need to delete and re-add shows. Don't miss out on Joan. Get it now from the WordPress plugins repository, or visit the developers at gndenterprisesinc.com for more info.
A smart house run by a vengeful AI, a mute witness to an act of unspeakable evil. A breadfruit thief is haunted. A young man unwittingly creates a god. Giant crapos terrorize a community. A witch seeks revenge on her neighbors, and much more. The Piton Noir Writing Collective is thrilled to announce the release of the third book in their acclaimed anthology series, The Flying Crapo. Flying Crapo, Heroes and Monsters. Now available for purchase on Amazon.com. Get your copy today and embark on a journey filled with heroes, monsters, and the magic of the Caribbean. Get ready for an electrifying thriller. A fearless New York attorney takes on corrupt corporate giants fighting for the powerless. Can this seasoned attorney and his team take down a monstrous company and its powerful leader? What will be the final verdict? What price will our heroes pay? Find out as you turn the pages of The Trust by Sam George. Get your copy of The Trust today from Amazon.com.
Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
Rick, my guest tonight on this week in interview is Miss Sophia Carrington, the author of the new book, Cariculture, A People Worth Celebrating. And it's available on Inkstand Publishing, ink as in the ink in your pen, Inkstand Publishing House. Discover the power of cultural heritage. It says Cariculture, A People Worth Celebrating, is a comprehensive exploration of the vibrant and diverse Caribbean region, delving into folklore, traditions, arts, sports, everyday life, cuisine, wellness, and more. Authored by Sophia Carrington, this book invites readers to discover and celebrate the people of the Caribbean. And so get your copy. It's available on at Inkstand. Sophia, is it also available on Amazon?
Yeah, you have the digital version on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, um, and Apple. Sorry, Apple Books also has it, and the hardcover you could get from Ingram Spark. So if you go to the link inkstandpublishing.com, you will be able to see where you could the different areas you could buy the book.
Right, because the book is such a beautifully designed book, it's worth having the physical copy. Even if
Yeah.
the digital copy gives it convenience, you can take it with you wherever you go. But the actual book will encourage folks to get the actual book. If you look at the cover, it's a pretty well designed cover, and the inside of the book as well. Who are some of the iconic people? We want people to buy the book, but also just a little teaser. You maybe can tell us about one or two of the iconic people that are featured,
Um,
highlighted in your.
there are quite a lot, but I will say
Mhm.
I did do one page for Stokely Carmichael, aka
Okay.
Kwame Ture. So that's basically who started the Black Power movement. He's from Trinidad and Tobago, so that that means a lot to me.
Did you say that
Uh,
he's the one that started the Black Power movement?
yep,
Oh.
he was born in Trinidad, and then he went to school actually in the
Hmm.
Bronx. He went to the Bronx School of High School of Science. Then he went on to Howard University, and then he went to the University of Toronto in Mississauga, right? So, I think he's someone that we would want to know about. I highlighted
Hmm.
also a woman, Mary Jane Grand Seacole, from Jamaica, but basically linked to. I want folks to read it. So, Mary Jane Grand Seacole, she
No,
is
no, that's
someone.
something. Just give him a teaser. You don't have to talk about,
Right,
yeah.
right. She's based out of London, so there's that link. There's also a full page for Alexander Hamilton, because a lot of people don't know that one of the founding fathers of the U.S. was born and raised in St. Kitts, like I mentioned before. There's a lot of
Hmm.
sports figures in there. There's a lot of the actors, actresses, just highlighting for cricket. Oh, let me think. I think every
Did you have Brian
major,
Lara?
cricketer from the West Indies team is in the book, mentioned at least in the book somewhere.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
and there's a particular person that was included, and I did a full page to honor that person, because I think we wouldn't have the West Indies if it wasn't for him. So he is highlighted in there. I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
know who it is. Um, I did do a page about Vivian Richards from Antigua and Barbuda. I think
Right.
that's
In my mind, the
that
greatest batsman of all time.
right. I
But
had to
then,
give him his
but,
respect.
but that's because I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up in the time of sobers. That's what I'm told. I'm told that I say Viv is the greatest cricketer because I didn't know about sobers. But
Sobers.
Vivian
Mm.
Richards is my cricketing hero. Yep. So as you
I
said,
think
there's so many
there's
people of
so
the
many.
Caribbean that are worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Lara, Chris Gale.
Yeah.
There's a few people who did some, I would say electrifying things. And so, we just want to
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
highlight them, right? And recognize and, put their name down in a history book, right? That we own. That's ours. You know? I
Right.
think
That a
that's
story that
important.
is told from our perspective. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Again, there's a lot of, just little short, little 1, 2 sentences about quite a few other people. Again, I did a page on Merlin Otti. Um, she ran representing Slovenia, but she's really from Jamaica. And and that's the other thing, we have a lot of our athletes representing them for other countries, right? But we got to hail them and
Mm-hmm.
show them that love as well. Just like even from Dominica, we have Karina, right? Karina Leblanc, right? For the goalie for Canadian Olympic soccer team, right? So
Oh,
we have
really?
a lot of
Mm.
people out there doing a lot that a lot of people seem, they just don't know. And we gotta shout out people's names.
So as I'm hearing you talk, it seems like it may have been a challenge, a battle for you to decide who's going to drop on the, how you say, the cutting room floor. Um, because
Everyone is
you
praised.
realize the book is 500 pages. If you keep going, it will get to 1,000. Is
Yeah, there's
there
a second book
is there a
coming.
sequel?
There's
There's
a
another book coming.
Yeah, because you
Okay.
just can't capture everything. I mean, I had so much information that's even the woman from Uganda that helped me, Alex. Oh my God. I was like, please just organize
Mhm.
me because I'm like, it's so much information. At one point, I just got lost. Right. I was like, I just said her, she's like, okay, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay. So it took a while for us to really like, sift through it and say, okay, this is the first, your first edition, your first volume. This is what we think is most important to come out overall as a region. And yeah, it's hard. You don't want to leave out anyone, right? You want to make sure everybody's seen and everybody's, acknowledged and recognized, and praised.
So you say that there's a book two that's coming. Is there anything else besides writing? I know you have some book signing events, but
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like celebrating Caribbean culture can be a whole project of its own, huh?
Yeah, there's a few things down the pipeline with cariculture that I'm really excited about. Like, I would suggest people get the book because I think again it's growing to be
Mm-hmm.
way more than the book, right? It's all what we can pull from the book. It's a story we can tell. That's all I can say. I can't say much. It's a story we can tell, and it's an opportunity for us to be able to really, recognize
It's
each
laying
other.
the foundation. Yeah.
It definitely lays a great foundation for us as a people.
Right. Right.
Even and I'll use something simple, right? And I'm saying it's simple, but it really wasn't. It took me 3 years at work at my current job, right? We celebrate Caribbean American Heritage Month every June, and not even Caribbean people know it's in June, right? But it took a lot to be able to
Mm-hmm.
approach all the C suites and be like, listen, this is why this is important, this is why you need to know this. And it got to the point, I think the point that drove it home for them is, I was like, well, we're headquartered in Chicago. You were founded by a Caribbean person that literally set up businesses along the banks, and so you doing a business here, it's thanks because of this person. So tell me why you can't celebrate this person and Caribbean American Heritage Month. And I think they were super shocked when I said Hamilton was from the Caribbean, because if you just kind of look at, we know we don't, the look of Hamilton is not necessarily what you would say, oh, that's a Caribbean person, right? So,
Right.
it's saying those things is like, is she for real? And of course they did their research and then they came back and approved it, and we did this whole celebration in every, literally all over the US. We did a Caribbean American Heritage Month somewhere in some state within the company. So that was good. So, it's a lot
Mm.
of it is just making people aware. And once people know and they understand, then they join you in celebrating, right? Like, you know, I had these people eating jerk chicken and oxtail, and mind you, is to see them go get seconds and thirds, but they wouldn't do that unless we open our mouth and expose them to it, right? So,
Right. And even educating our own selves.
right.
I live in Brooklyn, and the section where I live in Brooklyn is officially called the Little Caribbean. It's actually up, and the banners, it's officially recognized as that. Like how you
Good.
have Chinatown, and you have Little Italy, and so on.
I love it.
The section of Brooklyn where I live is called the Little Caribbean.
I
And you
love it.
can, we're proud of Dominican, our fruits and our agriculture, but I can tell you, I will get um, every fruit 5 minutes from walking 5 minutes from my house. I get every
Right.
fruit and every type of Caribbean food, and not only that, I get it year round. It doesn't have to be in season,
Season,
and
right,
so
right,
we,
right.
yeah, and also there is the what is this Brooklyn Caribbean Brooklyn Literary Club, where they have a whole week of
Mm-hmm.
touring of works of Caribbean writers. And 2 years ago, one of our writers, Mr. Alec Lazar, one of his
Mm-hmm.
books, Kalinago Blood, was featured, and it was one of the books that was featured during that time. So I believe if we can get Cari culture in front of them, it sounds like it's a book that could be a good candidate to get recognized by the Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Committee. So you might want to put that in your radar. But let's tell
Thank you.
folks again where they can get their copy of Cari
So,
culture and to
right.
help celebrate you.
So pretty much you go to the website, inkstandpublishing.com, and you will see where it tells you about the book. Any events I have coming up is also listed in there. You could buy it from Amazon. The digital version you could get for Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Apple. And also you could get the hard copy from
Hmm.
Ingram's Park, and everything is on that page. If you're in London, you could go to Ingram's Park also and order it. I saw it being sold in Australia, New Zealand. I'm starting to see it being sold all over, so it's kind of cool to see that people are actually buying it, from different places. So yeah, we yeah, just grab a copy, especially the hardcover. You
Yeah.
appreciate it double.
No, and then it's for your Caribbean, for your summer reading. Take it to the beach, take it to the pool, relaxing on your veranda, sitting down under a mango tree, sipping something, a rum and coke, or rum punch, or
I'll say
passion
sip it
fruit
on some
juice,
we'll
whatever it
sip it on water, or we'll take lemonade. We'll take squash. We call it squash, so we'll say squash.
is. Squash, right? Yeah. But let me say congratulations to you again on this
Thank you.
wonderful achievement, the production of this beautiful book, uh, Cari Culture, highlighting and celebrating people of Caribbean heritage. So people worth celebrating. It talks about the culture, and from what I understand from you tonight, it's heritage, it's culture, it's food, it's music, it's our own achievement in terms of politics and music
Right.
and so
Right.
many different things.
And I did not mention my daughters. They are the ones who technically are the editors of this book. So they were the ones that
Wow.
I had proofreading, so they were really big on, I abused them. Like,
So
read for
it's
me, read for
a
me.
family production. I
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
they are listening so they can apply for their share of the royalties.
Oh, they've done their paperwork on that already. They know that they're covered, and I also want to say, because I'm going to give a few people thank you, if that's okay. Um, I had a lot of people help me do the book, and I can't just call people names randomly, but I do want to stop and say thanks to Kenrick. Kenrick, I will say poor Kenrick, because Kenrick Butler, because I mean the amount of prints I had to have him do to, every time we did an edit on the layout, he has to do another set of prints. So can you imagine 518 pages printing over and over and over again, right? Until we got it right.
Wow, wow. Mhm.
So, thanks to that, for my cover, Gabby Santana, the way she was able to capture what I had in my head was, and I went through quite a few different, Caribbean people, right? Like, okay, what can we do? So talk about, bringing everybody all over, right? So Gabby did the cover, and Alex is from Uganda. She's actually lives in Uganda, and she was able to do the layout and the design. So that was good. Do I get to thank you? I will thank
Mhm.
you as well, not only for bringing me
You're
on the
very
show,
welcome.
but our conversations, etc., enlightened me to write a few things on there. Same thing for Sandra. Sandra helped a lot, especially when I was writing about the slave trade part, the slave codes. There's a lot, she used to teach history. And so, she was a huge resource. So, you still want to say thank you to everyone that, just contributed, right? It was a lot.
Right. Okay. So I mean, great big thank you to them. It takes a team, but also
Yeah, yeah.
as the captain of the team, you also deserve your accolades for producing this wonderful work. And I wish you all the best. You have an event coming in happening tomorrow, the 26th.
I'm supposed to
I
be
think
doing
I
a
saw
book
something when I
signing.
went on Kingston. Mhm.
There was supposed to be a book signing tomorrow, and I think we're gonna push it back to sometime in July. So
Okay.
now that you said that, I have to update the website for that. But yes.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Well, I know it's summertime. I hope it's very busy for you with a lot of book signing events. I hope your book finds its way to numerous coffee tables
Amen.
around the US and in the Caribbean. All right. And we look
Thank
forward
you.
to the other activities that's going to be spun off from this
Yes.
wonderful work. Carry culture of people who are celebrating. Get your copy and let us know what you think about the book. Leave a review, share it. I've been encouraging my audience to give this sort of books and products of our people. If you have to give a gift, if somebody graduates and you want to give them a gift, buy them a book and give it to them as a gift. Someone is it's a birthday or whatever reason we give gifts. I encourage you to look at all of this wonderful work that's coming out from our Caribbean artists and our Caribbean authors and consider them in your gift giving during the summer, for Christmas, for New Year's, for birthdays, for anniversaries, for graduation, for just because. It's a
Right.
wonderful book, and there's somebody that you want to let them know that they're special in your life. You buy it and give it as a gift. So, Sapphire, thank you for coming on. I'm gonna let you give some closing remarks and say that I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation about your this great work of literary work.
Thank you. Thank you guys for listening and dealing with my excitement. I hope you can hear it in my voice.
There
You
is
know,
your voice for sure.
just as you're talking about a gift, I just want to say real quick, this woman from TikTok, actually, she saw my stuff on TikTok, and she had sent a
Hmm.
message to me a while back to say, send it to, let her know. And I actually forgot, to be honest, right? And then she ended up ordering the book. But the reason she ordered the book is the person she's dating is from the Caribbean, and she wanted to learn more about the culture, and that's why she bought the book and
Mm,
also gifted him one. So I thought that was really nice. So just as you were saying in terms of
that's nice.
gifts, but the idea with the book, like, people, you want a copy in your hand. I think every Caribbean household needs this book. I think every college needs this book. It's one of the things I'm actually going to approach, colleges for, especially those that do Caribbean studies and so forth. It's great for conversation. If you have your book club, it makes a great book club discussion, or few discussions rather. And just enjoy it, read it, learn, enjoy it, share the information, because we want to tell people who we are and what we're proud of, right, and what we've done and what we will continue to do. So yeah, that's it.
All right.
And read the letters
So
at
thank you
the
for.
end. I have letters for everyone. Read the letters.
Okay. So thanks for stopping by our
Thank you.
program this week in interview, and we wish, as we said, a wonderful summer, busy summer full of book signing events, and maybe you come back in the fall, right before Christmas, and tell us how it's doing, and maybe by then you'll be able to update us on the second book or what other
Right.
activities that you have planned coming up.
Okay.
So thank you,
Happy
and
to.
good night
Thank you
again.
for having me. Thank you. Good night.
Uh, all right, thanks. Now, folks, I hope you enjoyed this work by Miss Sapphire. And again, apologize for, I know the videos were a little jerky. We got a late start because we had some power issues going on because of the extreme heat. But nonetheless, we want to thank my guest tonight, Miss Sapphire Carrington. She is the author of the new book, uh, Carry Culture, of people worth celebrating. And we know there's a lot of achievements by Caribbean people within the region and outside of the region. And so we want to celebrate them. And we want to also hope that works like that will spur our people to continue to achieve. There is so much challenge in the Caribbean to quality of life, to economic um, viability, to there's so many challenges. The challenges are globally, but our people are having a challenge of it, where still have so much migration out of the region. And so we hope that by consuming works such as this, it will help remind us that our people are people that are full of aspirations, and we ourselves can continue to pursue our aspirations and to continue to thrive and to achieve. So I want to say good night and stay warm, stay cool. I mean, not warm, stay cool. It's very in New York and in some of the other places we are going through a few consecutive days of above average heat, and so we encourage you, if you have folks who are not as physically able, check on them, make sure that um, the air conditioners are functioning properly. Maybe give them a ride, take them to a mall or to a cooling center. Just check on your folks and make sure that everybody is all right. So enjoy your weekend, and we will do this again uh, next week, Wednesday, for another episode of This Week in Interview. Good night.